Imagine you, married for 3 years, believing you are living a fairy tale with the person you love. Lamar, our main character, had everything: a beautiful wife, Sophia, and a close relationship with his father, a figure he had always admired. However, on an unexpected afternoon, Lamar discovers that his wife is having an affair, not with a stranger, but with his own father. The ground crumbles beneath his feet as he witnesses laughter and intimacies exchanged in the garden of his home, a place that should be of bonds and trust. What would you do if you were in Lamar's place? How would you deal with a double betrayal involving the two people you trusted the most? Lamar had always considered himself a lucky man, married to Sophia, a dazzling woman he met at a conference on contemporary literature. His marriage seemed taken from the pages of an ideal novel. They lived in a charming, exposed brick house with a garden that Sophia loved to tend, located in a quiet suburban neighborhood where every street seemed to embrace tranquility. Henry's visits were frequent and always welcomed. Henry was more than just a father to Lamar. He was his best friend and confidant, especially after they lost Lamar's mother a few years back. Lamar admired his father's strength and resilience, who even as a widower maintained a youthful spirit and contagious energy. On many nights, the three would gather in the living room, sharing laughter and stories, while Sophia served her famous chamomile tea. What Lamar never suspected, however, was that these gatherings hid dark secrets between the lines of conversation and shared smiles. Henry, ever so present and affectionate, came not just for his son's company, but also for the moments he could steal by Sophia's side when Lamar was away. In those instants, the respect and morality that Lamar so admired in his father were replaced by a double face of betrayal. Skillfully hidden under the veil of fatherhood and friendship, on an unexpected Wednesday, Lamar decided to leave the office in the middle of the afternoon, motivated by a surprise he had planned for Sophia. He had managed to get tickets for the closing show of a band's tour that Sophia had loved since her teenage years, something he knew would make her extremely happy. With the tickets in hand, he drove home, eager to see her reaction upon receiving the news. As he approached the entrance of his house, Lamar noticed something peculiar that wasn't there in the morning: his father's leather shoes, carefully positioned next to the coat rack. A surprise visit from his father was not uncommon, but he always gave advance notice. Intrigued and a little irritated by the unannounced interruption, Lamar entered the house, the quietness of the environment amplifying his initial discomfort. He expected to be greeted with a hug or a joyful exclamation from Sophia upon hearing the door open. But instead, silence enveloped him like a dense fog. Driven by a mix of curiosity and apprehension, Lamar followed the sounds of muffled laughter echoing into the garden, a place Sophia adored and tended to with such care. As he approached, the conversation became clearer, more intimate, different from any dialogue he would expect to hear between his father and Sophia. As he gently pushed open the glass door leading to the garden, Lamar was greeted by a scene that made him stop in shock. Sophia and his father were sitting side by side, so close that their hands were touching on the small coffee table. They both laughed, a sound that now seemed strange and painful to Lamar's ears. On Sophia's face, a glow of happiness that he recognized, but never imagined seeing directed at another man, let alone his own father. His presence had not yet been noticed, allowing Lamar to observe, invisible and incredulous, as a wave of tumultuous emotions invaded him. The love and trust he had placed in Sophia and his father crumbled like a house of cards in the breeze of a raw and unexpected reality. With a Herculean effort to maintain his composure, he finally announced his presence, his trembling voice breaking the spell of his silent observation. "Sophia, Dad, what's going on here?" Lamar's question was a mixture of confusion, pain, and anger. Their reaction was immediate. Sophia released Henry's hand, her face paling as she realized the gravity of the moment, while Lamar's father stood up, his face marked by a complex expression of guilt and surprise. The explanation would come in tears and confessions, an emotional tsunami that Lamar never expected to face in his own home. The revelation of the affair between Sophia and his father hit Lamar like a punch in the stomach. He could barely keep himself standing as Sophia's words, laden with tears and despair, confirmed his worst fears. "Lamar, I'm so sorry. You have to understand this didn't start on purpose. It started over a year ago. We didn't want to hurt you." Sophia's face was disfigured by anguish, each of her words seeming to tear Lamar's heart further. Lamar's gaze alternated between Sophia and his father, searching for any sign that this was just a nightmare. But the truth was undeniable, cruel and bare before his eyes. He felt a mixture of betrayal and abandonment, a pain so acute that it seemed to tear apart every part of his being. Without strength to articulate a response, Lamar turned his back on the two of them, the images of his father and Sophia together burning in his mind as he walked away. Sophia's words still echoed in his mind as he wandered aimlessly through the house, each step a reminder of the life he thought he had built with her. The house, once a symbol of their love and shared future, now felt like a prison of memories and lies. Lamar left the house without looking back, the sound of Sophia calling his name fading into the distance as he lost himself in the coldness of the night. In the turbulent days that followed, Lamar was consumed by an obsessive need to understand how and why his life had been turned upside down. He rummaged through drawers and closets, searching for any clue he might have missed. It was then that he found, hidden at the bottom of an old shoebox, several old letters and photographs. Each letter, each image, was like a stab, revealing not only his wife's betrayal with his father, but also the extent of the deception. The letters were from Sophia to his father, filled with words of love and plans for the future, dated even before Lamar and Sophia's marriage. The photographs showed the two of them together at various events and trips that Sophia had told Lamar were business trips or visits to a friend. The truth was now inescapable. Their relationship was deep and premeditated, and worse, his father had manipulated the initial encounters between Lamar and Sophia, arranging their love story like a director of a painfully real spectacle. The discovery of this evidence was the final blow for Lamar, confirming not only the infidelity, but the depth of manipulation and betrayal he had suffered. Lamar's world was irrevocably altered. Every happy memory now tainted by the reality that he had been deceived from the beginning. Determined to confront the situation and seek some kind of closure, Lamar arranged a meeting with his father at a quiet cafe in town. The reunion was charged with palpable tension. Sitting face to face with the man who had raised him, Lamar felt a mixture of conflicting emotions, anger, betrayal, and a profound sadness. Why? Was the only question Lamar could initially formulate, his trembling voice evidencing the pain he felt. His father, Henry, looked at him with eyes full of regret. "I've always loved Sophia. From the day I saw her, I knew it was wrong, but the passion was stronger than me." The words came out slowly, laden with a guilt that did not alleviate Lamar's pain. Henry continued, confessing that he had orchestrated the first encounters between Lamar and Sophia, manipulating the circumstances so they would fall in love, all to keep Sophia close without raising suspicions. The revelation only deepened the chasm between father and son. Lamar felt every word as a renewed betrayal, realizing that his love life had been merely a staged performance to satisfy his father's selfish desires. The conversation at the cafe did not bring the relief Lamar sought. Instead, it made clear that the relationship between him and his father could never be repaired. After the painful revelation and the weighty words exchanged at the cafe, Lamar left with an overwhelming sense of emptiness. Walking aimlessly through the city streets, he reflected on the extent of the lies and their impact on his life. Each step was an effort. Every face that passed by him seemed blurred, as if the reality around him had lost its sharpness after the discovery of the betrayal. Lamar wondered how he could have been so blind, how the signs could have gone unnoticed for so long. He thought of Sophia, the love he had felt for her, and the father he had always considered his hero. The double betrayal shattered not only his marriage, but his conception of family and trust. He felt betrayed on a fundamental level, as if the foundations of his life had been suddenly ripped away. During that long walk, Lamar decided that he needed to rebuild himself, away from the shadows that now colored his most cherished memories. He knew that the path to healing would be difficult and solitary, but he also understood that it was necessary to rediscover his own identity, one that was not tied to the betrayals he had suffered. In the days following the painful discovery and confrontation with his father, Lamar immersed himself in a process of seeking professional help. He found a lawyer specialized in divorces, who carefully guided him through the legal steps he should take. Along with this, Lamar began attending therapy sessions, a safe space where he could express his pain and work through the turbulent emotions that plagued him. Therapy proved to be fundamental for Lamar. With each session, he unveiled more about his feelings and learned to deal with the betrayal not just as an end, but as a starting point for his personal growth. The therapist's support helped him understand that although he could not control the actions of others, he had full control over how he would respond and rebuild himself after the trauma. This process also involved restructuring his daily life and personal relationships. Lamar was determined not to let the betrayal define his worldview. He began to see resilience not as a choice but as a necessity, and each small step towards recovery reinforced his determination to move forward, stronger and wiser than before. As Lamar's divorce proceedings unfolded, the reality of the situation began to spread through his network of friends and family. The news of the affair between Sophia and his father shocked everyone, generating a mixture of sympathy and indignation among those who knew the couple. Lamar faced not only personal pain, but also the weight of social judgment and invasive curiosity of a small community. Amidst this, Lamar strived to maintain an appearance of normalcy, although every casual encounter or conversation with acquaintances was a constant reminder of his situation. The reactions varied. Some friends offered unconditional support, while others, uncomfortable with the complexity of the situation, drifted away, leaving Lamar even more isolated. This forced isolation, however, ended up being a catalyst for Lamar. He realized that, away from others' expectations and gazes, he had the freedom to redefine who he was and what he wanted for his future. This period of introspection and detachment from external influences allowed Lamar to begin healing his emotional wounds, finding strength in solitude and planning his next chapter with more clarity and determination. Over time and much personal reflection, Lamar began to rediscover pleasures and interests he had set aside. He joined a support group for people who had faced similar betrayals, where he found not only comfort in the shared stories, but also a new community of friends who understood his pain. This new social circle proved to be an unexpected source of strength and empathy, helping him feel less isolated. Furthermore, Lamar explored new hobbies that allowed him to express his emotions creatively. He began attending painting classes and enrolled in a creative writing course, activities he found surprisingly therapeutic. Painting, in particular, became a form of meditation for him, where each brushstroke helped alleviate the weight of his experiences. Writing, on the other hand, allowed Lamar to transform his journey of pain into stories that could inspire others. These new activities not only filled the void left by his former life, but also helped him shape a new identity, one that was rooted in his resilience and ability to overcome adversity. Lamar learned to see life not as a series of unfortunate events, but as a canvas for his own reinvention. Over time, Lamar learned to accept the past and build a future for himself, free from the shadows of betrayal. He never fully forgave his father or Sophia, but he decided he wouldn't let hate and resentment define the rest of his life. Upon finalizing the divorce process, Lamar finally felt free to move forward, although the emotional scars still needed time to heal completely. He knew the road ahead would still be long, but he was ready to face it with his head held high, strengthened by the painful lessons he had learned. And you, what would you do in Lamar's place? The discovery of such deep and painful betrayal challenges our most fundamental values about family, love, and trust. Lamar, facing the devastating reality that the people he loved most conspired against him, had to choose between forgiveness and liberation from the past. He chose to move forward, rebuilding his life far from the shadows that tried to suffocate him. Leave a comment letting us know what you would do in this situation, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to keep following more stories like this one. See you in a new story.